I had the chance to see Peter Hujar's Day at Sundance, and I'm always trying to figure out my schedule. And it's a rare find that you'll find a film that's under 80 minutes. It fits nicely in between other things. And it's like, who cares what the movie's about? I'm going to see it. It's short. It's going to be worthwhile. And I'm pleased to say that it definitely was, even though I personally had no familiarity with either Peter or Linda. Do you feel
Right.
like that's important to the experience of enjoying the film?
Oh, no. I mean, to me, it's a film that exists and it's on its own and in its own universe, even however you approach it. And it's a film about the making of art and also the beauty of friendship.
What was your own experience with both of them before this film?
With Peter and Linda. Linda, I didn't know at all, and I got in touch with her after reading the book based on the transcript of this conversation that she had made on Instagram. So we became Instagram messaging friends, and only after a few months of communicating did I realize she was 89 years old and still like just as contemporary as could be, as she still is now, quite a few years older. Peter, I knew his work since probably the mid 90s, and had always been struck by its originality, also its specificity, its work about a certain place at a certain time. And I think I miss that kind of work in all art forms these days as the world has become more global.
You feel like this is something that you always saw as a film, or at one point maybe it was a play?
Oh, no, as soon as I read it, I was in Paris working with Ben Whishaw on Passages. And really, by the time I got to the last page, I thought this was a project that he and I should make together um, uh, as a film. It seemed to me emotionally and narratively moving, simple, but not small was my sense that there was something quite big um in the focus on the monumentality of a single day.
It's nice to see you working with Ben again. I've enjoyed following his career and seeing some of his, more timid roles and things like Women Talking and the more assertive like Black Doves. And after seeing Passages, I always enjoy when someone works with a director in two films back to back and the roles are radically different. I feel like he
Yeah.
fades. So of the trio in Passages, he is the quietest in many ways, and here he's definitely talking as he would talk the entire time if Linda wasn't there to occasionally remind him that she was listening.
Yes, for me, it was also a discovery, and I think that's what's exciting about continuing to work with one actor is that the collaborations reveal there's a trust, but also the collaborations reveal new things. This was the first time with for me that I'd worked with actors in a foreign accent, meaning they were both adapting themselves as British people to an American roles, and I found that also very liberating because it erased any idea that I was making something realistic. It was always from the conception somewhat theatrical. That being said, both of them make it so human that ultimately I think it's something that seems very familiar. The texture of their relationship seems very true.
Well, to that point, you're working with existing text. Is everything preserved exactly as it was on that transcript?
Uh, we added no words, but in editing, we took a few away. But every phrase, every comma, every pause, every um, uh, addendum or kind of the musical nature of everyday talk is part of the dialogue. I think for Ben, it was like working in jazz in a certain way because he had to remember not only the words, but how to get from one word to another in a very technical way.
For you as a screenwriter, is that a challenge you'd recommend to other people to work with a source material that you want to keep?
Well, what I liked about the source material is it gave me what I'm always looking for, which is extraordinary authenticity. You have a because it's actually a record of a conversation that took place at a very specific time. And Peter Hujar was such a gifted storyteller that the details really seemed to evoke that moment in an unexpectedly full way. So, in a way, I hope the dialogue I write more fictionally could even achieve some of that authenticity that I found in this original text.
I love that you were in touch on Instagram with Linda because there's something about this, the tape recorder technology versus, Instagram messaging now. I assume she's seen the film. Do you know what she thought of it?
Oh, well, we email and text and talk every couple of days and have for the last year. So I think we've become, in some ways, I think my relationship with Linda mirrors to some extent her relationship with Peter. I think as a gay man, and I've had a few friendships like the one depicted in the film, and somehow I feel that my relationship with Linda mirrors that. We also connect as two Eastern European Jews. She's from the Bronx, I'm from Memphis, but you can feel that our ancestors were in common somewhere.
Do you feel like there's more you want to explore with Peter in the future, or this was the right
Well, I'm
amount?
making a new film that's set in the late 80s in the same neighborhood that Peter lived in, which is the East Village of New York. And for me, since I made a film in 2010, which was a short work called Last Address, which was an elegy to a group of New York City artists who died of AIDS, I've been passionately curious about those people at that time and the community. I feel like I look to that time in New York as a time of great radical and queer and um, open and experimental um, creativity. And for me, we don't live exactly in that time. So I look to those artists for inspiration and courage.
And what have you seen lately that's really stuck with you, that's really impressed you?
Last night I saw The Mastermind, which I loved. Kelly's film, I think, is a kind of culmination of her interests over 30 years, and it's wonderful to see a work of art that could only be made by a singular person.
I think though it's much longer that would play well as a double feature with this film.
You think the oh really, in what way? That's interesting.
I think there's just something about the moment in time, about the pacing, I think is very, very nice. They're obviously different and the mastermind, there's it's slower in some ways, but I like them. I think they both capture a particular moment in time.
Well, they're also both films about process, which is something that like how do you and I think that's the thing that I find most exciting for me right now uh, about about Peter Hujar's day and specifically what Peter has to say about creating art. I feel as an artist working now, his um, vacillation vacillation between doubt and confidence, I find very compelling and very comforting. Making art is not easy, and Hujar shares that anxiety and momentary confidence and kind of this circular dialogue that artists go through. And in some ways, I would say that's the connection between the mastermind and Peter Hujar's day is that they're about how hard it is to make something happen, whether it be a heist or a photograph.
Absolutely. I like that connection. Well, thank you so much, Ira. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Abe. Have a good day.